Hey guys, I hope you are well. You are back on my YouTube channel. My name's Nat Rich, and today I am with a friend of mine called Jev. And I've basically asked Jev to come on board because it's another astrology rabbit hole that I've gone down. And a friend of mine, Becky will be watching this at some point. Becky, thank you for the introduction to Jev. Me and Becky have known each other for many years, and we've always had an interest in the alternative stuff out there. And Becky watched my show with Pam Gregory that I did a few weeks ago, and then mentioned Jev and said, oh my God, I'm doing this astrology course. It's like this 5 or 6 week astrology course. It helps. It's about embodiment, understanding astrology from your personal perspective and from your chart. And it really gives you a good insight into what you're doing. And for me, I love this. So I thought, right, I want to do it. I reached out to Jev and she kindly accepted me for the course. So this is one of 3 videos that we're going to do. This is a video from like limited perspective from the beginning of the journey. Then we're going to do one after she's given me a kind of bigger reading and gone into it. And then we're going to do one at the end. And this isn't to hard sell or push you anything, but I love to talk about what I'm doing and share what I love the most, which is the alternative stuff. And if anybody is interested in doing the course, you can reach out to Jev. I make nothing from it. I'm not here to do that. I just love having a good rabbit hole conversation. So Jev, thank you so much for everything you're doing right now. How are you today?
Thank you so much for inviting me, for joining the course, for the rabbit hole conversations. That's my favorite myself as well. Absolutely love it.
Good. And can you tell us a little bit about kind of your recent, not necessarily recent, but your journey into astrology and why you feel it's so important, and mixing it with the embodiment as well, and explain a little bit about what embodiment is as well.
Yes, that's a good comment to make. Astrology is something that I have been interested in for years. If I remember myself correctly, I was one of those, funny people who is actually reading those horoscope in a newspaper. I think we all can relate to that.
Yeah.
But of course, also having this filter on top of it, like it might not be true, or it's just put together to entertain us. Nevertheless, I was reading those. And at one point, it became a little bit like a game. You meet a person and you try to scan or to understand what kind of sign he or she is. In many cases, I was pretty precise. I was like, this is that energy. And it was funny. I would be asking friends like, don't you by chance have a birthday in June? And they would be like, how do you know? But of course, there is so much more than just sun sign, right? There is much many energies are mixing together, and there are different placements and so on. But believe me, I never had an idea of actually going and studying it. It was, I don't know, it was just not on my mind. I was very much a business person, business-oriented person, building career, going into another rabbit hole, And then I faced the moment when I just realized I can do no more. Like it was just way too much physically, mentally, emotionally. And I started awakening, so to say, seeing a lot of imbalance in this society, a lot of imbalance in our lives. How much are we giving away and how much not we are getting back in terms of resting, recharging for our own kind of soul and well-being. And so I went to travel for half a year. And because my mind is always on anyway, and I said, I won't be working. So if not working, then what? Studies. And I just researched. I was really on this idea for quite a while that I want to study astrology. And I wanted to pick something that resonates with me deeply. So I really kind of explore different modalities. There are different types of astrology, Vedic astrology, modern, mundane, psychology, and so on. And at one point, I came across evolutionary astrology. And that was where all the bells around me just started ringing, saying, this one, look at that. Because evolutionary astrology is focusing on the soul. It's not about what do you need to do in 2 months and which car to buy and where to get married. No, it's a little bit broader and bigger. It's really focusing on where your soul has been. in the past. What was the path? What were the lessons? What were you mastering back then? And also what you have brought with you in this lifetime. We all have baggage, right? And the question is, what's in the suitcase? What's there?
Yeah.
And interestingly, the evolutionary astrology is also super helpful because it's not only kind of giving you the diagnosis and saying this is what you've been mastering and this is what in your suitcase. It also shows you what are you supposed to do with the suitcase. Where are you traveling? What is the trajectory? And what I've noticed over the course of my own life and over the course of studying and practicing with clients for some time now, I've noticed that when we're coming into this life with a suitcase, and of course, we are the creatures of comfort, right? We tend to fall back into the patterns that are comfortable for us, that are safe, that are known, both the good, the bad, and the ugly, all of those. And we tend to do more of the same. So if it's comfortable, I just do more. I just do the same thing, right? We just quickly touched upon the mental thinking, right? So that would be the easiest example. If a person is a thinker with very strong mental capabilities, in this lifetime, he or she will do more of the same. More thinking, overthinking, controlling, finding the proofs for things, asking for proofs, trying to find some kind of scientific approach and you know the story. And from the evolutionary perspective, for this soul, the direction would be a different one. The direction would be to actually come across on the other side and develop the intuition, to start feeling things, to start seeing the bigger picture rather than getting into the rabbit holes of the details. And here is, I believe, where the link with somatic intelligence comes in, because when we are stuck in the old ruts and the old ways, and we're doing more of the same, and we're not moving across onto the other side of the evolution, so to say, this is where our bodies start talking to us. Because if we don't hear and listen to our intuition, the body will be the one who is saying wrong way, wrong door, stop there, go somewhere else. Yes.
Yeah. There's so much in what you're saying. I mean, just to unpack that a little bit in terms of the somatic, the path of. So for anybody that doesn't know what somatic means, it's more about using the body intelligence. So it's understanding that there are feelings within the body that can guide you, not just thoughts. And it's about listening to the body, and the body keeps the score. So if there's anything that's happened in your life, your body holds the trauma of that. It holds the patterns of those things that you that you can't yet let go of, or that you have to work through. So using a feeling approach as opposed to a thinking approach is quite an unusual path for a lot of people, because we do have the kind of keen bean attitude where we want to know everything. And I think the most enlightened beings out there, especially even when I think about my own, not I'm saying that I'm enlightened, but when I'm saying I'm thinking about my own spiritual journey, I'm humble in the fact that I know nothing. I might know a lot of other stuff, but in the general scheme of things, the grand scheme of things, I know very little, and I'm okay with that. Not knowing, I'm okay with, but people like to know because it gives them a false sense of control and security. But then they get stuck on needing to know, having to know, and then if it all goes wrong, they're like, well, I thought I knew. And then it's devastating if it doesn't go according to their plan. And this is why I always joke about having, I don't have plans, because God's got better plans than I have. And, whenever I just let go and I surrender, the week shows me what I'm meant to do. The person that comes into my life will show me what I'm meant to work on. The feelings that come up in that morning will be what I go with, rather than looking at my diary and saying, I've got this, this, and this. So for me, it's your course and what you're doing is giving someone it's like a map with locations on it, and there's still a journey to kind of go on. It's like a treasure map, so we're still going on it, we're still searching, we're still looking for what's there, but we don't necessarily need to know that we get on the number 37 bus, and then we have to get on the train, and then we have to get on here, and then we need to meet that person, and we know it's not the details. It's just given the map and say, hey, well, you're here and you're meant to kind of get here. So how you take that is how you embody it along the journey, and how you move on your own path. And there's going to be things that we need to get rid of when we go on an astrology, like when we go on this astrology path, and especially the way that you're doing it. it's looking at boundaries. It's looking at parts of ourselves where, if we're not in alignment, if we know we're meant to go over there, but we're going in this direction, if we're not in alignment, we need to try and move in that direction. That means things that around us, we're going to have to let go of. We're going to have to build better boundaries, which is something that you're covering on the course. It's about how do we communicate those boundaries, and boundaries are basically limits that we have to set ourselves, that we have to also set other people, that will help us define the journey that we're going to go on. And I think what you're doing is very different, in a sense of, it's not just a reading. It's not just a, hey, here's the map, see you later. It's actually, how do I prepare for that journey? What do I need to take? What needs to go in my backpack? And is that a good idea or not? And I think that leaves the mystery, but it also allows someone the security in the fact that they know they've got a journey and a path to go on. Which does that make sense to you with what I've just said?
Absolutely, because they say the map is not the territory, right? And that's exactly what I have and what I am offering to people, because also from the evolutionary astrology, we believe, not only evolutionary astrology, but overall in spirituality, we believe as within, so without, right? We start from within, and then the external places and faces and circumstances are manifesting. And here it's where the bias a little bit comes from people who are saying, oh, I don't want to come to astrologer because he or she will tell me something and I will be, gripping on it or holding on it, or I will be scared. So here I want to destroy this bias, that with evolutionary astrology, we don't deal so much with external events. We're not predicting. We're not trying to say, in 2 months you will get married or nah. We're talking about the soul, and the soul is energy. So we're talking more about psychology. Psychology is in a nutshell of the whole piece of this course that I'm offering, because we'll get deep. We will not get outside, we'll get deep first with you. What's inside, what's in the backpack, what do we still need to keep and flourish with it, and what do we really need to drop and forget. And I believe also when I started practicing this astrology, it was also very similar to what you, Nat, just said. I would be showing what's in the backpack, but then I would not be providing with what to do with it. It was a little bit like, that's your diagnosis, now find another doctor. And that was missing. It felt like something is missing. I cannot really help people, because obviously I can share something from my journey, but I will not cover all the scenarios. This life is so much more creative than we are, and than our one life is, right? And this is why the program came together, because one part of it is, what is the context? What are the energies? What is the individual path? What are we looking at in astrology? What does it mean to come from one side to another side? How do we work with archetypes, with keywords? And this is a little bit like a tool for self-therapy, I would even say, because once you get it, you can come back and pinpoint and work with those keywords for the rest of your life, really, because that's exactly where the circumstances, the external circumstances, will be manifesting. And you can say, this is this archetype which is playing out right now. So what do I do with it? Am I still falling back into the old ways, or am I already on the other side? You can cross-check yourself. So that's one part. And another part is something that I call somatic intelligence. And that is the mind-body connection. It is our nervous system. How are we triggered, right? Because all of us are triggered in one way or the other, in one situation or another. And the way that we're triggered is very different and very individual. Me and you, we can be triggered on absolutely different topics and themes, right? And here is the interesting part of it. We can be triggered because of the real danger or threat, or perceived threat. And this is where the real rabbit hole comes into play, right? What is perceived? What is perceived for me? What is perceived for you? And also this perceived threat, is it something that is based on the circumstances in this lifetime or in the past lifetime?
Yeah. And it's that, understanding around lives and past lives. I'm still, and I'll be totally honest, I'm still So many people talk about past lives now, as in they're a definite thing. There is still no yet solid proof for past lives, but there's a lot of results in this life that we can get to and we can find relief from by believing in a past life and allowing ourselves to change the path in this life. And there's another part of understanding past lives in the sense of, and this is something I'm kind of very interested in working around and looking more into, is that we don't have past lives, but what we do have is the energy from other souls that are attached to us that are trying to live through us at the same time. So we might have something say, oh, this is from my past life. It could well be another soul that is actually attached to you that hasn't actually gone passed over, but they are trying to bring in their part with you. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's yours. It's just that means you need to integrate this other soul in your journey. So however you look at it, whether you think there's a past life or whether you think that there are no past lives, but there are other souls out there that attach to you. It might be that you, for example, if you're finding it hard to give up smoking, it could be that there's an energy and a soul that used to smoke that has not passed over, that has attached itself to you, that has a smoking condition, and it's playing out through you and it's always been with you. So until you clear it in this life and make yourself unattached from that soul, you will have that smoking addiction. Doesn't necessarily mean it's you in a past life. So there's so many different ways to look at this, but regardless of how you want to look at past lives, because they're two very different paths there, astrology can still help you in many ways, because it can help you have an understanding of, it's kind of like you put the light on. I think Becky said that to me. It's like you've kind of come and put the light on in her room to allow her to see her own bullshit, basically. And we're like, yeah, that's what I need. That's what I need. Somebody's come and put the torch on. You're not going to unpack all my stuff. It's my stuff. It's my baggage. It's my stuff that I need to look at. But if you can, sit on the bed and talk to me while I'm unpacking my wardrobe and all my crap, that's a bit more of a fun experience. And that's pretty much what you're doing from what I see, is that you're here just switching the light on for everyone else, just helping them see that there's a direction that it might be useful if we get rid of that, or it might be useful if we unpack that. But it's certainly not yours or anyone else's to unpack, which I think that can get a little bit dependent sometimes. So I think sometimes that's where the guru complex comes in. Somebody might go, oh my God, and want you to help them solve everything, which isn't really the case.
No, absolutely not. I think as much as a perfectionist society we are, in this healing space, we just need to understand that we cannot take responsibility for anyone else but us, right?
Yeah.
And here, the just to come back to what you said right now, in terms of the past lives, I believe that everyone chooses for him or herself what resonates, right? You just feel internally, it feels about right. And whether it's your soul that has been through some interesting stuff in the past, or it's some kind of other soul that is trying to live through you, this is up to you, to what you feel is right for you. Because I believe once you start getting really deep and noticing what kind of patterns you're working on, what are the insecurities, what are the themes, what are the fears, it helps you. If you are a very straightforward person, you can say, fine, it was me. Now I just need to get rid of it. Or it can increase some kind of, it can give you a little more compassion to say, well, it was not me, it was something else, but I just, took over the torch like in a marathon, and now I need to run with it, and it's my responsibility in this lifetime. So in whichever way you look at it, you still have to work with it, as a matter of fact, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And then another part is switching the light on. It really depends on how far the person is on this journey, right? If someone is just starting out, then of course this feels like a light switching on, right? And people start like, oh, really, I have that? Oh my gosh, right? Or they're like, that's totally not me. And then they sit with those keywords and with those traits for some months and come back and say, actually, I found that playing out in my life, right? And one piece is to give a little bit of shining, to put the person on the spotlight. And another feedback that I've heard from people is actually helping arrange that wardrobe. Meaning that people are saying, I kind of knew that I have it, but now that someone else is saying it, now you've given me the structure, where it goes in the shelf. Does it go in the new wardrobe, or I throw it away, or I
Yeah.
just put it on the lowest shelf and then see how I can go about it.
Yeah. You're like the Marie Kondo of astrology, you know, the
Yes.
People say that to me about the organization. Like, she does the wardrobes and the house stuff. I'm the admin, like wizards, that I just help people clear all the crap out of their like admin life. You're doing the same for astrology. And it's just helping people have that perspective. And, you know, even though I'm doing my coaching and I'm helping people, I've got workshops, I've got all sorts of stuff going on. You know, with what I'm doing, it doesn't mean I know everything. And I have a disclaimer at the very beginning when I do workshops on Insight Timer, and I say, I'm not a guru, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist. I just know what works for me and I'm sharing it. Like, that's all we're here to do. Is if we found something that's good, that works for us, we're here to give back, we're here to serve, we're here to continue that good bit of knowledge, that good wisdom, to help other people get into a better space. And it's that, I think, is kind of what I like about you as well, is that you're very honest about the fact that you are, you know, you're not here to solve everyone's problems. You're just here doing something you absolutely love, and you're helping other people. And the more you help other people, the more you get to study and learn for yourself. And that is what I think is really attractive about what you're doing. And I just think it's quite nice to have that approach, especially when I spoke to Pam as well the other day, the astrologer that I had on before. Pam's, you know, done so well on her YouTube channel and got so big because she's just normal. You know, there's no kind of airs and graces. There's no kind of pretend outfit and turban and feathers and everything. It's just, I'm just rocking up, you know, I'm just a normal person doing this and I love what I do and I'm sharing it. And for me, that resonates more than anything. And I think that's why you're going to do quite well with what you do. So before we kind of like wrap it up, this is the first of three, as I said before. So this is me and you just sharing what you do and kind of explaining what evolutionary, I was going to say evolutionary psychology, evolutionary astrology, almost there, is. The second video we're going to do is, once you've given me my chart, I'm going to kind of give a bit of a testimonial around that and to see how I feel around that and what's come up for me, and kind of just a few tips and stuff, so somebody can get an eye in of what you actually do there. And then we're going to do afterwards and how I feel afterwards. So do you want to add, it's going to be underneath this video is all of the details for you and when your next courses are. I don't get any kickback for this. As I said, I'm just sharing it for what I love. I don't make any money from it. I'm just sharing. But do you want to say anything else or give anything before we finish the show?
Well, first of all, I enjoyed the discussion. Always happy to talk about stuff I love. And obviously, we're not the gurus, right? We're just sharing what helped us, and then with a very sincere heart, sharing it with other people. And regarding the program, I'm running one right now. So Nat is participating in this one. The next one will start on the June 7th. If you're interested, then the contact details will be below. I'm still working on my website, and there is an email address or Instagram account evolution.with.jev or Jeff. Very welcome. Will be super nice to connect and see you in the program.
Nice. Thank you so much. Well, we'll keep it very short and sweet, but that's good. I'm very happy. For anyone else that is watching, if you are interested, please obviously just follow the details. We're going to have more of these shows on. I am doing a number of other things as well at the moment and putting together all of my coaching and workshops. So I've been a little bit quiet on the channel, but I will be back with more, and I'm going to be doing way more with the radio that I have as well with I Am Sound. And I just appreciate all your support. I can't be stuck to social media. I can't be stuck to these things. I just have to go with the flow, and it hasn't felt right to produce anything until I was talking to Jev and I was like, oh, this could be another show. So here we are. So have an amazing day. Do reach out. And if you're interested, message Jev, and that will be. So Jev, you stay there. For everyone else at home, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.